What's up, guys, and welcome back to Thene's Garage. In today's video, we're trying to fix the brakes on the Honda Recon. Let's get right into it. Try to catch you guys up on what I've done so far. The front brakes did not work on this thing at all. There was no pressure whatsoever on the handlebar up there. You squeeze the brake lever and it just give. There was nothing to it. So I took off the master cylinder up here. This was stripped. So I finally got these screws out and I cleaned it all out. This thing was just full of rust, loads of rust in there. And then I basically tried to bleed the master cylinder by taking this banjo bolt off and then holding down on the master cylinder while you pump the brake. It forces most of the air out. And then you finally start getting pressure. Well, finally I got pressure. And then I spent forever trying to get pressure down to the bottom down here. Come to find out, the cylinder for the shoes and the adjusters were completely seized. Thankfully, I was able to get the actual brake drum off, and then I took all of this apart, took it all out. I probably need new shoes. These are looking pretty rough, but I cleaned the cylinder, freed all the stuff in here, sanded it down, really cleaned all the rust off. I soaked the adjusters in some ATF, transmission fluid, and let them soak for a long time. Finally got the rust free, cleared them all out, cleaned them up, and now they work. But the only thing is now on the other side, I can't get the brake drum off, but the adjusters work. So I'm not sure what's going on there. I have a feeling the cylinder on the other side is frozen open or something. After I did all that, I spent an hour or more trying to bleed these brakes. Finally took off the connection at the T and used an air compressor to blow out the line as I took the banjo bolt off up here, and loads of rust came through. And then I spent more time trying to get down here. Couldn't get it done. I just got frustrated and finally went and bought this manual vacuum pump for the brakes. I'm going to attempt to use this thing and try to get some fluid down here to this bleeder valve. Hopefully get to use this new little kit I got. So let's see how this thing works. This little hand pump thing comes with hoses and obviously your little hand pump here. It's kind of cool. You can put some pressure on there. Comes with a little lid here with an extra O-ring, and then your lid right here slides in, seals it up, and you have these little hoses here to the pump. So we'll put a hose here, and then this goes directly to this, attaches to this thing. And the other side of this, I believe you hook directly up to your bleeder valve, and then you should be able to pull this, and then if you look, it'll start pulling some pressure and it'll release. So hopefully we can pull a vacuum on this line and really suck the fluid out. So let me get this all set up and we'll see if this actually works. So your bleeder is a 10. I'm gonna go ahead and open this thing up. I don't know how open I have to have it, but I just have this hose hooked on here. Try to pull the vacuum. I'm going to connect it to our little vacuum here. And basically, oh, look at there. We're already getting stuff. It's red. And brown. So that's pretty cool. It's slowly pumping the air out. Now I need to go to the top actually and make sure there is enough fluid in this thing, because I didn't put much fluid in here. So I'm going to fill this master cylinder reservoir with fluid. It's sucking it down pretty quick. I thought it was anyway. I think that's just how much air is in this thing. I'm not sure how long this takes, if I need to pump the brakes at the same time or just let it pull the vacuum. I don't know, but it's definitely pulling lots of air out of the system, so hopefully we can get some movement here in a second. But I don't know how much pressure to have this thing coming out at. So when something happens or something changes, I'll bring you guys back. Finally got some fluid to come through this bleeder valve down here. Basically what I did was up here at the T, so your brake line comes down from your handlebar down here to a T right in the middle of the four-wheeler, then splits to each side, each front side of the brakes. Essentially I loosened where the T is, took that joint out, and then created a ton of suction on the bleeder valve with this hand pump, and then took just a wrench, This is pretty basic, but just started tapping these lines over and over all the way down the line, over and over and over. Cracked the bleeder valve open. It finally would suck some stuff through, and the fluid that came out of this is just absolutely disgusting. So I'm going to repeat this process on the other side and see if we can get anything through on that side. Once we do, then we can hook the T back up and then actually create a vacuum and try to draw out all the air for each of the sides. And then hopefully then these brakes will work. I can't pull a vacuum. I mean, I'm pulling a vacuum, but I cannot get fluid down to this bleeder valve, and I don't know what to do to get this drum off. I've tried and tried and tried. I mean, the adjusters are all the way in. This thing will just not come off. It spins free, like it's not stuck at all. It spins freely, but I can't get it off to check anything, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. And all I've basically been doing is keeping a vacuum on this pump and then tapping these lines. I mean, the T up here is still disconnected. Where is it at? See if you can see it. Right there. It's disconnected, so it should be sucking air in through that line right there, through over here, through up here, and then through there. But it's obviously not. So I'm just going to probably let this sit with a vacuum on it. I've hit this thing for the last 20 minutes, just been tapping all along this hose just to see if I could do anything. If you crack this change-up bolt, it sucks air right in. So maybe something's stuck, and I don't think anything's actually stuck in the cylinder because it pulled some nasty fluid out when I did that. But again, I don't know. I'm just going to leave it with a vacuum on it for a little while. I'll come back out here in an hour or so and see what happens. If anything has changed, the vacuum is still the same. It's at 25 PSI right now, which is a lot of pressure sucking down through there. So I'm just hoping eventually something will break loose and then pull through. I'm sure there's crud and rust and all kinds of gunk built up in this hose, and I really don't want to have to replace this hose. So if I flush it really good, I feel like that will help, but we'll see. I'll give it some time and I'll come back. I'm kind of at a loss. I've been messing with this thing. It's been, I don't know, 2 hours since that last clip. Just keep having vacuum on this line, and then what I thought of is, hell, I'll just take the line off of that one and switch it over to here, but basically I can't do that because it's the same exact situation. I tried pulling that line, a vacuum on the line, and I get nothing. There's nothing coming from this line whatsoever over there. So that line on that one is clogged up as well, so I can't use it. So we're in the same boat. Basically, I'm just going to either have to order a new set of brake lines or just keep trying to fiddle with this thing and seeing if I can get it to come off. So more than likely, I mean, it's the weekend right now. There's no point in even ordering anything now because I won't be able to get it for a week, which I didn't want to have this thing sitting in here for another week, but it is what it is. So that's where we're at. Probably just going to mess with it again tonight and maybe tomorrow, let it sit overnight. There's some, I got this Petro 90. It's like PB Blaster type stuff. Penetrating fluid in there. Hopefully we can get it through this line, suck it out. If we can, it'd be awesome. If not, I'll be ordering a new set of lines, which unfortunately is not cheap. But that's where we're at with the brakes. You got to have brakes in a four-wheeler. Not sure where we left off in the video. Got a new set of brake lines. I was tired of messing with this thing. There was no way I was ever going to get a I had a vacuum pulled on this line on this side forever. Nothing was ever coming through, so I kind of gave up. And this thing has been sitting here like this for over a week now. So that's how long it's been since the last clip. So not sure where I said I was in the last one, but I did get a new set of brake lines. I found the cheapest set I could on eBay. I don't think these are specifically for this model, but they're for a Honda 250 EX, I believe. So it's close enough, but it's going to work. I'm going to make it work. They're pretty much the same exact line. So I'm going to go ahead and try to run them up and get them all good. I know the top line I don't need to do, and the hard line because it's clear. I'm just going to use the bottom section of the lines that go to each, the T that go to each side. So let me get this out of the box and figure out where we're at. Well, this is kind of unfortunate. So this one, I knew it wasn't specifically the correct hose here, but it is definitely a lot shorter. So I'm going to try to make it work. Hopefully I can. I hope so, because I waited a week and a half for this damn thing. I don't want to have to wait another for one that's 3 times more expensive. So let's see if I can get this thing to fit on here. So it definitely did not fit the same as the factory one. I just basically looped it around here. Before, it had a connection here, up here, and here. And now it just has this one up here. It loops down to the brake and the wheel cylinder thing down here, and now it goes up to here, connects up to this top piece. That piece won't fit and connect in because it's too long, which is unfortunate, but there's nothing else I can do with that. So that's where we're at with this, and now basically I'm going to try to bleed the brakes and see if I can get them to work. I'm going to get my little hand vacuum pump and see if I can draw a vacuum through. I'll probably start on that side because I can actually see the brakes, and then work my way over here. I have my vacuum pump hooked up here. I have a little bit of vacuum on it right now, and I have it attached to my bleeder valve. So hopefully I can draw, I'll probably put about 15 pounds, and I have my reservoir up there filled up. Okay, it is sucking through, which is nice. I don't know where. I need to go up top here. I wish there was a better way to hang this, because I don't want fluid getting into the pump. So let me go up here and double check that this thing is filled up. It definitely already sucked down some. Try to get it level. I can pump again and bleed the brakes. So here we go. I'm pumping, bleeding. See if anything sucked down. No, not really. Pumping. Wonder if I need to pull this pump. Drawing air. Closing. You get anything sucking through? Not really. Where's that air coming from? I think it's coming from this connection up here, the T. Stupid me didn't close off the bleeder valve on the other side, so I've been sitting here messing with this thing for 30 minutes trying to get it tight. It's not working right. I finally got it in here correctly, and all it was the other bleeder valve was open. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but sometimes it's the simple thing. So now I'm going to attempt to bleed these things with this vacuum pump. I should be able to get a draw out. There we go. Now it should be drawing some as I squeeze this. Thankfully it's actually working now. So this is just going to take a minute with this bleeder valve like this. It's just going to slowly suck the fluid from the top master cylinder through. So now basically I just have to wait until I start seeing good clear fluid in here. I'll pump the handle, and then I'll bring you guys back when we actually get somewhere. Not sure where I was. A neighbor ended up coming over, helping me out. Finally, it's literally been probably 3 hours since that last clip. I've exhausted. I'm so frustrated. I hate drum brakes. They freaking suck. So originally, I got the brake lines on. I started pumping the brakes. I got the vacuum on there. Got loads and loads of air. Just kept coming. Finally got almost all the air out, but my brake lever was still squishy. I didn't understand. It literally was just still squishy as crap. I couldn't figure out why it was so squishy. And the brakes were still loose, like they weren't tightening up. So eventually, I went on a forum, and my neighbor thought maybe this master cylinder was broken or needed replaced, rebuilt. So I went on a forum, and it said to take like some vice grips and squeeze your brake line here. And if you squeeze the brake line and you get pressure, then your master cylinder is fine. Well, I got loads of pressure. And in the process of doing that, for some reason, that literally made the brakes work. I don't understand why or how, but it finally pushed the pistons out on the wheel cylinder on this side. So I was like, okay, this side's good. Let me go and try the other side. So I came over here and started working on this side, and I could not get it to the cylinders to work. I had got the adjusters all the way perfect. You adjust them till you use this little hole here and push the little gears up and down. I think this side's up until it's tight, and then once it's tight, you go back, like reverse it 2 or 3 clicks, and it should be good. So this side was good to go, but it literally was not. The wheel cylinders weren't working. So I was like, okay, well, never mind. Let me stop using this side. Let me go back to the other side. So I came back on this side, and started using, or started doing the same process. And I was like, well, the wheel cylinder's pushed out, so let me put this drum back on. Got the drum on, and I could not adjust the dang clickers. So for some reason, the clickers seized back up after tearing them all apart and cleaning them. So I got them out. I actually just got a bottle of anti-seize in. Soaked them in anti-seize. Got them covered up in anti-seize. Got them spun up. And then pumped the brakes now that they're actually adjusted and will work. And now the brakes actually work on this side. And I heard, while I was squeezing and getting this tight, I heard that side click. I don't know why or what happened. Maybe the pressure from the brake line, but now the wheel cylinders on that side are freed and working. So I'm not going to complain. Last step to do now is to put these castle nuts, axle nut things back on here, torque them down to what they're supposed to be. I have no idea. I'll have to go look it up, and maybe I'll throw it in the video. But I'm going to get this done, put this back on. The brakes are finally bled. I need to put all the parts of the master cylinder back together, and then put everything back on, and I'm going to take this thing for a freaking ride. Shout out to my neighbor for bringing me some more brake fluid. I literally used an entire quart over there of brake fluid trying to get the air out of these lines. So, and then I spilled brake fluid everywhere, went in my eyeball. That's a whole story, but that's besides the point. So that's brake drums. Pain in the ass. Hopefully you guys can figure it out. Hopefully this video helped. But now I'm going to put everything back together and hopefully take this son of a gun for a ride. I've been wanting to ride this thing forever. All right, guys, that's going to be the end of this one. That was kind of a pain, but most drum brakes are. So I got everything back together. Everything's pretty much set in stone now. The brakes are good. I did a couple tests up and down the road. This thing rips pretty good. I'm pretty surprised at how quick and torquey it is, being a little 250, but it is. And it's been a while since I had anything like actual shift, because I've had the Polaris and the Polaris before that. But anyway, the only unfortunate thing that I paid attention to, or kind of caught, was it's smoking a lot. So I think next on the agenda is a top end rebuild, and I'll probably after that post it for sale. I was gonna post it for sale, but you know, as soon as I got these brakes done, but I need to get the oil check or the top end redone. Just better that way, and they're really cheap. The kits are really cheap, so that's the next thing to do to this, and then maybe we'll start tackling, you know, that one there. That's it, guys. Like, comment, share, whatever, subscribe. You know the drill. If you have any questions, let me know down below. These drum brakes, like I said, are an absolute pain. So that's probably going to be the end of this one. Links for stuff will be in the description if there should be any. But other than that, guys, I'm exhausted. Hope you have a good one. Bye.